I think we're live. Good morning. Happy Monday. I'm tired, as you can see. I have three dogs, Bunny, Bear, and Birdie. And Bunny decided to get up at 4 o'clock last night, and Bunny did not want to go back to bed. So I was up with her. I was up with the dog until yeah, so I am sleepy this morning. But I'm excited about a bunch of things. I'm excited that in an hour I get to go live again with my good friend Annie Sanchez, and we're going to be talking about her story, what she's been up to over the last year. And she's super entertaining and she's super wonderful. And I just love everything about Annie. So if you're um, able to at 10 o'clock hop back in uh, to the Women Who Soar Women's Giving 6-week series, which starts in uh, 57 minutes. So if you're just hopping on Monday morning, come on in and say hello and good morning. And I need to wake up. Um, so last week, on whatever day, Wednesday or Thursday, I can't remember, I started talking about discovery call, right? And the steps to a discovery call. And I got a bunch of messages like, wait a sec, Dora, when should I be doing discovery calls and how many? And there was lots of questions around discovery calls. So I wanted to kind of go back go back for a second and just define loosely what a discovery call even is. Is it a consult? Is it a coffee chat? What is a discovery call? And it's all the above. So if you are having daily consults, or if you are having daily discovery calls, non salesy sales conversations, and virtual coffee chats, all of those can be a discovery call. Um, so this this guide works for any of those conversations. I just want to get you in the habit of getting out of ineffective chit chat and ineffective networking and into effective conversations that go deeper. That's what I want to get you in the habit of. So just to go down really quickly, what are the steps to a discovery call? They are the following. If you're just coming in, come say hi and wake me up because I am a sleepy girl. So the steps to a discovery call, whatever you want to call it, non-salesy sales conversation, they are research ahead of time, building rapport, setting an agenda, setting an outcome, going through the profiling process, your turn, summary, pitch, and handling obstacles, overcoming objections. So last week I talked a little bit about the research, the building rapport, the agenda, and the outcome. Today I want to do a quick refresh of agenda, outcome, talk about the profiling, talk about the profiling process. So the overall guide steps for a discovery call, that first the whole it's broken down into parts. So it's research, build rapport as soon as you get on, set the agenda and the outcome, go through the profiling process. 90% of the time you'll be able to allow them to go first. That's what you want to do. So you can sit back and ask questions and listen. 80% of the time they should be talking, 20% of the time you can be talking. So profiling questions, and then it's your turn. So it's your turn to tell your story and share about you, and then summarize. Summary would be if you were able to go through profiling and find out that you have the ability to solve their problem, or whatever that may be, then that is when you would do the summary. Finally, you would pitch if you have the opportunity to pitch, only if you have gone through the profiling and you're able to hit the emotional pain point. And then lastly, handling objections. So, um, so last week I talked about um, sorry, I'm sleepy. Last week I talked about agenda and outcome. So as soon as you get on a call with someone, even if it's completely informal and it's super just get to know each other coffee chat, you still want to set an agenda and an outcome. The agenda can be as informal and simply to value our time and to be efficient. My goal for this call is really just to get to know you, understand a bit about your past, what you're doing now, and where you really want to go. And I will do the same. Is there anything else that you want to cover during this call? That's the agenda. And then the outcome is typically during these conversations, I find out that one of three things usually happens. One, we find out that there's actually an opportunity for us to show up and serve each other, and that's really cool. Two, we find out that there really isn't anything that we can do for each other right now, and that's okay. You can tell me that at any time. It's good for us to be transparent. Or three, we've just tapped the surface and we've found that there's a lot more to talk about, and we would schedule another call. So that's the outcome. And the reason why you want to have an agenda and an outcome is because it will set up a mutual agreement. So that mutual agreement allows you to walk them down the path of what comes next, which is profiling. So, um, so profiling is the meat and potatoes. This is where you're gathering data and you're gathering information specific to what you do. What you do. So if you are a health coach, if you sell coffee, if you whatever you do, whatever your business is, you're going to walk them down a path to find out whether or not you can solve their problem. So remember that analogy of walking into Starbucks and knowing what you want versus walking into a bank and having no idea what you want. And this is you not knowing what they want and them not knowing what they want or need. So that's what profiling is all about. So there's three different levels to profiling questions. The first level of profiling is the surface level. So this is where people usually start and end, and it's not effective to just do the surface. So some of those questions, those surfacey questions, could be, well, tell me everything. I'd love to hear about you. Where should I start? That's a big one. Where should I start? Well, you can start wherever you'd like. Professionally, personally, I'd love to hear your story. So it's very blanket and high level questions. And you want as much as possible, you want to ensure that you're listening and that you're asking follow-up questions. And so follow-up questions when people start talking are second level questions. So second level questions are beginning to talk about the relativity to what you do and how you can support them. So you would start with your high level questions, and then you would go to your second level questions, which digs a little bit deeper. And these are customized. These are questions that you would come up with. I don't have questions for every industry, but I can say that I can help you with putting these questions together. And you want to have several. And these are questions that you would practice. You wouldn't use all the time, but you would want to start having a list of questions for them. So if you have someone sharing with you their story and you want to uncover more about them, you would ask the second level questions. And the second level questions are, like I said, relative to what you do. Um, and then the third level questions, the third level, this is where you're digging the deepest and finding out if there's any emotional pain point related to um, the first and second questions. So um, I guess I'll try to give you a couple of examples if that will help. So um, if I am a I'm just going to use Christine because that's who I talked to yesterday. So if I am a coach that helps women through their cycles monthly and women that are severely affected by their menstruation, I want to have questions laid out around that subject matter. Now, obviously, you're just getting to know someone, so you can't come out and say, how's your menstrual cycle monthly, right? Um, but you can definitely talk about their health and wellness, and you can ask questions related to that. So some of those questions would be the first level, tell me everything, all that good stuff. And then throughout the second level is like throughout the years, have you ever tied your health and wellness and how you relate to health and wellness to your everyday? Like, what have you done to support your health and wellness throughout the years? What challenges have you faced? Those are some of the second level questions. And then the third level questions, that would be, have you ever tried to solve this problem? So once you uncover that there is a problem, have they ever tried to solve it? What have you done to solve the problem? And then how committed are you to figuring this out? So those are some of the levels of questions, but I'm being super basic today. One, because I'm tired, and two, because these are profiling questions that you come up with. And here's the thing, as you're coming up with your profiling questions, send them to me. Send me a little Facebook message saying, okay, here's the three levels. What do you think of these questions? And remember, you set the stage. You set the stage to with an agenda and an outcome. So if you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to ask these questions, or I don't want it to feel salesy, well, it's not going to feel salesy because you've already set up the agenda and the outcome. You've already gotten a mutual decision in a mutual agreement to ask questions, and these are informational for you to gather data to see whether or not this person is actually a potential client or buyer, what have you. So a lot of times we'll get on a call and we will just start talking about what we do. This is what I do. This is what I do. Okay, that's great. And then that's it. So there's like no purpose. Like there's no purpose there. It is very surfacey. So I advise you to stop having those calls because they're not doing you any good. And start having these calls. And not always are you able to lead through these calls and end up with a client or a buyer. But the more you practice and the more you master this process, the more likely you're going to convert to clients more often. So, and the goal when you're first starting out and having these calls and conversations, the goal is 10 to 15 of these calls a week. Hi, Angelina. Good morning. So, so that's profiling. And tomorrow we will talk about your turn, like when it's your turn and when you should start sharing your story and why you do what you do, and who you help, and why it's so important for you to do what you do and who you're impacting. And then from your turn, it will be the summary and the pitch, and then lastly, handling objections. So yeah, so look forward to tomorrow morning where we'll dive even further into the discovery call guide. I know this stuff is like hard, right? Like oh, I don't even want to listen to Dora because it's making me feel antsy and weird. And but if you're looking to sell your service and your product, this is an area to really master. And the better you get at these types of conversations, the more you're going to be able to affect your bottom line. So I will see some of you hopefully in 45 minutes when we hop on for the kickoff to the Women's Giving 6-week featured speaker series. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a great 6 weeks. So thanks for hopping on today. Catch the replay, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.